You might be familiar with names like Vanderbilt, Rockefeller, and Carnegie. But what if I told you that there was another, lesser-known baron of industry with a fortune to rival even the wealthiest of Gilded Age tycoons? Hi everyone, Ken here. Welcome to this house. Today we are exploring the many mansions of Arthur Curtis James. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an exciting episode of This House. Arthur was born into an incredibly wealthy family in 1867. His grandfather, Daniel James, was one of the founders of Phelps Dodge & Company, and his father pivoted the mercantile business into one of the world's largest copper refineries. When Arthur inherited his stake in the family fortune, he quietly invested his money over and over again until he owned 1/7 of the nation's railways, approximately 40,000 miles of track diversified through various rail lines. This series of investments in railways saw his net worth multiply exponentially, with estimates putting him as one of the 10 wealthiest Americans at the turn of the century. Instead of being involved in high society, he mostly kept to himself, choosing not to publicly disclose the source of his wealth, nor leave any clues for nosy journalists. His wife, Harriet Etty Parsons, could not have been more opposite. She craved the spotlight, throwing huge parties to impress other members of high society, while famously wearing a dress strewn together with thousands of sapphires, earning her the nickname Lady Sapphira. Though many people knew who his wife was, many people wondered who was the man hiding behind the walls of the James family mansions. In Manhattan, at the corner of 69th and Park, their Knoxville gray marble mansion stood in refined dignity. While only 3 of its stories were visible from the street, behind its marble balustrade, a hidden 4th floor provided a private urban oasis, which we will see shortly. To enter the mansion, we will pass through its wrought iron gate and find the front door flanked by columns on the wing protruding from the left. Before we begin wandering through the first mansion, let's take a look at the floor plan to gain a sense of how its cavernous rooms were arranged. First, we will arrive in the vestibule, flanked by marble columns supporting rounded archways with heavy relief work. Straight ahead, the grand staircase sweeps towards us below antique stained glass windows. As we look around, let's note that 4 differently colored types of marble were used to style the stair hall, with the floors and walls appearing in a muted beige. We will see more of the staircase in a moment, but for now, let's return to the vestibule and take the opening to our right. As we open the double doors, we will be ushered into the Great Hall. This colossal room stretches over 50 feet in length with 34-foot ceilings. Above the oak paneling, skirting the plaster walls, antique European tapestries are proudly displayed. The collection in this room alone was said to be worth $300,000 at the time, the modern equivalent of over $11 million today. At the far end of the Great Hall, we can see the minstrel gallery protruding from the mezzanine and imagine musicians softly playing classical music just out of sight. Let's continue into the dining room, flooded with natural light. The English limewood wall panels are decorated with carvings in their upper portions, and if you happen to recognize the design, these are copies of Greenland Gibbon's work. Returning to the stair hall, we will begin winding our way up to the 4th floor, admiring the intricately detailed marble balustrade along the way. As we begin looking around the 4th floor, we will pass through the long gallery to find the rooftop solarium. This private oasis blocks out the city, offering a year-round retreat teeming with greenery. While Arthur's Manhattan mansion was grand, his estate in Newport overshadowed it in opulence. In 1909, Harriet asked Arthur to build her a cottage for her birthday. He chose a site high up on a hill in Newport, with panoramic views all about the property. Harriet then sat down with the architecture firm of Howes & Stokes to design her dream vacation house. Upon its completion, the mansion's layout was considerably modern for the time, with removable walls which could make the rooms larger for parties. The Great Hall rose 2 stories, with classically detailed architectural elements decorating each surface. Mr. James could often be found lounging in the living room, surrounded by trophies from his hunts. Though when Mrs. James was hosting company, the living room wall would be removed so that the dining room table could be extended to seat 40 guests. And when not entertaining, Mrs. James was known to spend most of her time in the conservatory, which she dubbed the Della Robbia room. The cottage, now known as the Beacon Hill House, had formal gardens gracefully planned about the grounds. Not only were there large pools with fountains, you could find garden walks marked by freestanding columns. And if guests were still not impressed by the grounds, they could be brought down to the private village which Arthur had constructed for his staff to live in. Arthur was known to spend long nights in the village, surrounded by what he considered one of the most perfectly designed cities in the world, though in reality, it was more akin to a private amusement park on his property. Unfortunately, for as extensive as the estate's amenities were, it did not have a connection to the sea. Arthur purchased a narrow piece of land connecting him to the shore, where he built a boathouse for docking the Aloha II, his 218-foot sail and steam yacht. Later on in life, Arthur became sentimental. He purchased his grandfather's house on the Hudson to make sure it would stay standing. As he continued to age, his heart matured, and he began giving incredible sums of money to charity. He purchased an estate in Florida specifically for hosting fundraising events, though he never once visited for leisure. After retiring in 1939, he became nearly reclusive, choosing to spend his time gardening at Beacon Hill through the spring and summer, and sailing around the world with a small crew through the fall and winter. In 1941, Harriet passed away, and within just 3 weeks, Arthur followed her to the grave. He left millions of dollars for his children, though more than 3/4 of his fortune went to various charities. His kids had no interest in running his business and liquidated all of his assets. In time, every one of his mansions was torn down and replaced with new developments, leaving hardly anything physical to trace back to America's unknown baron. Which house was your favorite? Let me know down below in the comments section. And while you're there, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an exciting episode of This House.